Going live. You're live. I'm live. Hey, welcome to an episode of Chad's Beer Reviews. Why is my... Sorry about that. As always. Trying to see where the screen ends. Alright, good enough. Anyway, not, well, I was gonna say special beer, but it's, at one time this was a special beer, now it's kind of common. Funky Buddha Maple Bacon Coffee Porter. I reviewed this in 2018 as one of the last official Chad's Beer Reviews episodes, and that was to spec for the specialty smoked beer style. Alright, so this was bottled on, or no, it says best before June 17th. Well, okay, well I can't say I'm surprised considering the beer store I got it from, the one right down the road. It's not so much a beer store as it is a beer museum with the artifacts are for sale. But so it's nice that because you can get this in 4-packs and it's only $13.99 for a 4-pack. And I think that's a fantastic deal. I actually buy it all the time. And I didn't realize that this was expired, but as we'll find out, like it really hasn't lost a lot. So anyway, let's dive into it. So huge maple syrup on this one. This is like comparable to like CBS or something with that much maple syrup. Very sweet smelling. Definitely, there's still some coffee in there. I mean, it said best before. Yeah, BB 17 June 21. Yeah, unless I'm reading that wrong. I mean, it'd be awesome if it was bottled on June 17th, but I don't think it's quite that fresh. So anyway, yeah, just big maple syrup, coffee. It smells like a diner. You know, it smells like Denny's or IHOP or something like that. It has like this simultaneous sweet maple syrup smell, but also like kind of like the roasty, bitter coffee smell. Sorry, I'm trying to move. Whatever. I will say that the smoke character is definitely a little diminished. It's there, but it's kind of hard to pick. Like, I think the coffee and obviously the maple syrup is a little overriding the smoke character, but it's there. Yes, I mean, it smells like if you had, you know, like pancakes and bacon and a cup of coffee for breakfast. Again, like it smells like a Denny or a IHOP or a diner or something. I will say it definitely smells more sweet than the roasty, smoky kind of, you know, savory smell. Like you think that those flavors and those aromas would clash, like the sweetness from maple syrup, but like the smokiness, but they don't. I mean, that's why everybody loves, you know, bacon with, you know, sugary French toast or pancakes. And talking about this is making me hungry. Anyway, appearance, it looks black on camera. It's actually like a super deep mahogany, chestnutty color, and it did foam up pretty well when I poured it. So let's dive in here. Cheers. You can see I drank like almost half the glass on that first pull. Yeah, really tasty beer. It's nice because like you get if you have a sweet tooth like I do, but which is ironic because I am like so over pastry stouts. Whenever I see these pastry stouts on Tavour, like anything marshmallow or you know, just all these crazy flavors that they put them in, like Funky Buddhas. In fact, they probably invented the pastry stout. Like they have a French toast beer that tastes literally like French toast. I don't know if they still make it, but yeah, I mean, like Funky Buddha they're guilty of making those pastry stouts that are just like sickly sweet, but this one is not. So it's like it's got the sweetness and flavor of maple syrup, but like without the sugar. Yeah, so up front is like maple syrup right away. Nice, sweet maple syrup without being cloying. It's not sticky. It's not sugary. And then about halfway through and then into the finish, you get the kind of bacony coffee character that just kind of really balances it out. I'm still getting like a nice kind of roastiness on the coffee here. I'd probably put it like more of like a medium kind of roast. I don't think it's quite like a French roast or a Cuban roast or something like that. Yeah, and then the smoke, because the bottle is old. Like usually smoke or yeah, smoke's usually the first thing to go, unless it's like one of those 𝓕𝓻𝓮𝓻𝓲 beers. There's just like massive smoke in those. Um, any beer where it's like a light amount of smoke, where smoke is like just a background flavor, like which is what this beer is supposed to be. Yeah, smoke is usually the first thing to go. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I just wanted to show the clarity of the beer. It's nice, like a dark brown color, but it is clear. It's not hazy or have sediment floating around or anything. And there's a lovely chocolate flavor in there as well. Oh man, this beer is really good, and I think that this is a fantastic price. I'm glad that this comes in 12-ounce bottles now, because I think it was like $20 more or less for a 22-ounce. But I would much rather pay, $13.99 for 4 12-ounces, because I'm gonna enjoy those over the course of 4 different nights. This is it's a lovely, lovely dessert beer without the bloated decadence of like these imperial pastry stouts, which again, like a lot of these things I see on Tavour, they're like 10, 11, 12%, but they're just like they haven't had time to age. Like they brew them very, very quick and then can them and get them out there, and they're probably back sweetened. They just brew an imperial stout and then just dump a bunch of flavoring when they bottle it. I'm assuming, I don't know, but this is like 6.4. Yeah, 6.4 ABV, and it's just got the flavor of something way bigger, which is really surprising, and I appreciate, considering that the bottle is aged. It doesn't have the thick, chewy mouthfeel of like a Marshall Zukov, but it doesn't need to be. It's just got enough flavor, enough mouthfeel. I probably put it like medium full. It's not. I would not call it straight up full, and I think it's a little bit more than medium. Carbonation's about medium high. Lingers with like kind of like a chocolatey aftertaste. It's kind of like chocolate. Yeah, it's like kind of more like kind of like it's like a chocolatiness, but it's also a little bitter. So it's kind of like chocolate and then kind of like a little bit of like the roasty coffee on there. It's hard to pick out any specific malts or hops. I wouldn't call this. I wouldn't consider this a pastry stout, even though like it has that, it's a very sweet beer. Specialty smoked beer is what I would put it, or just any spice or vegetable. And again, it is a porter, so it's not. Ironically, and I said this in my review 3 years ago. I said this seems more like a stout because porters tend to have like kind of more of like a fruity flavor, whereas stouts are like more roasty and bitter. Yeah, I mean, they can market it either way, and it'd be fine by me. If judging it by spec, well, again, this is funny because when I was reviewing the bomber back in 2018, the bottle that I was reviewing was old at the time. I said I'm going to get a fresh bottle in January, and that was over 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And well, I will say I've been buying this in 4-packs for probably at least a year now. In fact, this might be the one that the beer store down the road from me, they do not know what they have. I've offered many times to like consult the dude, It just drives me crazy because it is like a beer museum. Any of you like super hardcore beer nerds, especially from like the early days of BeerTube, if you saw like they have a bunch of beers from like the brewery, the BRUERY, the brewery from California. Um, I will say like they do have all the dogfish or not dogfish. Well, they do have some dogfish there. Um, all the Goose Island variants, they do get those, and they have a bunch of Brooklyn 750 mil, like the Brewers Reserve, those like really expensive, like $25-$30 bottles. They've been sitting there for like years. They're like bottled like before I moved to Florida, and they're just sitting there. They don't mark them down. There's no prices on the shelf. It's like I love and hate this beer store. I love it because I can find, gems like this, a 4-pack for $14, which I bet you either I think that might be priced incorrectly, or if it's not, it's just props to Funky Buddha for making this a very accessible shelf price. But anyway, yeah, I really like this beer. This is a fantastic value. As far as rating, this is Untapped, 4.5 out of 5. When this is like fresh, I would probably give this a full 5 out of 5. It's really that good. I like this better than Founder's Breakfast Stout. In fact, I think I like it better than Founder's KBS the last few years. Founder's KBS the last few years has just been a beast and kind of messy and cloying. And this is the balance and the flavors. I will say it is maybe it's a little too sweet and maybe a little bit too faux, fake, whatever you want to call it. But I assume that. Well, I don't know. Is it made with real maple syrup, or is it just a maple syrup flavoring, extract that they just squirt in there? So, but it tastes authentic to me, and I wish it was just fresher, so like the smoke would come out more. But otherwise, lovely, lovely dessert beer. You don't even have to drink it with dessert. I have drank this with dinner. It goes great with like a steak, burrito bowl, you name it. Even Chick-fil-A. So, I am rambling. If you watch all the way to the end, you are awesome. I get another throwback review probably for tomorrow night. So thanks for watching, and I will see you then.